welcome to this week's episode of Your Powerful Legacy TV. I'm Kristin Oakley in for 𝗱𝗃𝗍 𝗍𝗫𝗍, and I'm joined today by Kristina 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗁𝗃 and Rob 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗁𝗃. They are financial professionals with Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. Friends, it's so good to be back with you. How are you, Kristina? How are you, Rob?
Fantastic. Just so excited to get out here and get some more information going for people.
Absolutely. Well, I know that it is so much of what you do, but you've had some really busy things happening in your personal life recently. I know you had a wedding, and I would love to hear more about that.
Yes, holy cow. My oldest son married.
Hard to believe. You don't look old enough to have a son who's married.
Thank you. Thank you. I love it. Yes, 25 years old and married, and we love listening about the married life for them now. They're already having their little tiffs about the sink space and, you know, about who's the better driver and all that kind of fun stuff that comes along with the newlyweds. It's hilarious.
Well, and I happened to hear you talk to someone about the sink argument, and I would love for you to share about that, what you said to your...
So Tyler comes to me, and he's talking about everything's good. He said, but you know, we have this bathroom, and it's got one sink, and I gave her all the shelf space except for one little area for me to put my things in. And he said she's cluttered all of her stuff into that as well. So I just asked him, what's your point? He goes, well, I don't like it. How do I fix it? I laughed at him. I was like, there is no way you're going to fix this problem. You might as well just deal with it and move on.
Everyone in the studio is laughing now.
So laughing. Sorry.
Oh gosh, yeah. My husband, you know how he fixed that? He was like, you go use the other bathroom in entirety. That was the solution. We got a bigger home.
Oh, I told him all the time. I said, just those 3 words, bless your heart.
Right, exactly. For better or for worse, right?
Exactly.
Well, I know that you love to help folks navigate the joys of life, and obviously a wedding is something to be celebrated, but you also help people navigate things that are unexpected that aren't always as pleasant. And Kristina, you and I were talking before the show. You said, you know, this episode, we're going to be tackling one of the most difficult things to talk about, which is what if life doesn't go according to plan? How are you prepared for the unexpected? Because that can really derail you. Even if you have a solid plan in place for your retirement, life can change in an instant. And so we want to unpack that a little bit today and just help give you some peace of mind that no matter what comes, that you are going to be able to help folks navigate the storms of life, if you will. So if someone has a retirement strategy in place and it is solid, what do you see as potential things that often derail people from having that strategy play out the way it was intended to?
There are so many different ways that derailments do take place, and some of the worst that I've seen, I don't want to just talk about the mainstream and what it says. That's not how we're going to do this. It's health all day long. People have unexpected health issues.
Yes.
I've had clients that have had massive strokes or major conditions that end up putting them into long-term care, and it's financially devastating. While you are so worried about taking care of your loved one or about your own health, you shouldn't be worried about the financial end of it. That's pretty much all we have to say. And it's actually one of the greatest blessings, because I've had several people that we've had some derailments. I mean, things just do not go according to plan, and they're able to call my cell phone. My clients have my cell phone number. That's probably a little different for some places. You know, they don't like that type of accessibility, but I'm there for them when things go wrong. And I think that that's when people really need you the most.
Absolutely.
Anyone can be happy when the sun is shining, but how can you be there for them and have that umbrella over them when they're in a storm?
For sure.
Yeah, I think healthcare it's huge, and you look at even the smallest things, and just for you folks at home, even these little devices here cost about $6,000, and most of the time they're not covered by your insurance. It's something that we need at a certain point in time. A lot of us do, and they're very helpful. But one thing that's $6,000. What if you have to have a surgery? That's maybe $50,000. What if you have a spouse that dies? That's more.
That's good for his mental health. You notice he removed the hearing aid that was closest to me, so.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Yes, I did.
Oh gosh. But you know, I'm proud of you for getting them, because I'll just share this quick story from my family. My grandmother was too proud. She needed them for years, and she did not want to wear them because for her that was just a thing.
Yes.
But my dad thankfully has gotten them because we want him to be able to enjoy the conversations with us, and it's so hard if he can't hear. So I applaud you for that.
Yes.
You're not the only one, right? I actually went to my annual eye doctor last week, and things have just gotten a little different all of a sudden, you know.
What is that? Aging
right?
sucks.
All of a sudden I'm like, this didn't used to be blurry, and it's blurry. And my doctor just laughed at me and said, yep, it's time for progressive lenses. Oh, yay.
Oh my gosh, and we start talking about those things that, you know, you snap, crackle, pop in the morning like a bowl of Rice Krispies, and we're not talking about the cereal.
Right.
It's all your joints, and, you know, you have these arthritic symptoms, everything's just sore, and I understand why people do not like the cold in the wintertime. That's been more recent. The last couple of years, I feel the same way. My father-in-law made a comment to me one time. He said, if I never see snow again in my life, I'm good.
Right.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, that shift happens. And a lot of those things progressively happen over time, right?
They do.
But I think what we're touching on today, too, is that it can be way more devastating when things happen out of the blue, which it's not just health. It could be an accident. It could be a sudden death. It could be a lot of different things.
Yes, and there are some things that actually come out of the blue. This is not the fun one to talk about, but I'm just going to go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off right there. I'm talking about a gray divorce. This is probably the second most devastating thing that I see, because you've planned on an entire life together, and then all of a sudden when that's not there, what happens? Most people cannot survive on their own with just one part of the income that you were planning on for your life together. That's a really big deal. It has caused so much devastation. And I think that COVID actually induced quite a bit of that. I mean, I can see that. People at home all the time and getting on each other's nerves. I mean, I totally get it.
Right. Everyone had their own lives, and all of a sudden everyone was forced to be under the same roof in confined areas, right?
Yes. And I mean, I know I get on my husband's nerves because I get on my own nerves. But when I think about, you know, not living the rest of my life with him, I don't want to know what life is like without him.
Right.
So I think that when you are in a marriage that's been there for decades, and then all of a sudden something happens, whether it's divorce or health or whatever else it may be, and it just completely derails it, you need someone there to be your partner, to be there to support you.
Right. And to your point, it's not just the emotional devastation, but there's financial devastation that can occur as well. I mean, there's just so much that goes into that people often aren't prepared for, that can really take you off guard.
Right. At that point, you're on your own. It's the same way with a death of a spouse. You're finally on your own. You get to, in your mind, you think you can do what you want to do, and you can go do these extra things that you may not have the money for, and that hurts.
It does hurt.
We see it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious, you know, for people that you've been able to walk alongside through some of these devastating things, what have been the most common themes or comments that they've been, you know, that they've shared with you after the fact of you walking them through that season of life?
Well, I will say one thing. I've got a very, very good friend, and I've taken care of her and all of her money for many, many years. And her husband passed away about 1.5 years ago. And right after he passed away, I gave her a piece of advice that I feel like is completely invaluable. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Don't make any major moves. Sit tight. Let yourself heal emotionally, mentally, physically. It's going to take a toll. You can talk about the finance later. Give it a few months, 3 to 6 months minimum, before you make any major decisions, because there's just so much that you're seeking comfort. And just like you have those endorphins that release, you know, when you order a bunch of Amazon, it's the same type of thing. You don't want to release those endorphins and spend all your retirement at the same time by overspending. So just be really careful on that. And then also finding the identity. The reason why they say that money and emotion all go hand in hand, money is very emotional, is because it is. If you don't believe me, ask any divorce attorney. But let's talk about why money is emotional. It's because money is time, and time is money. And time is completely priceless. So that's why it's so important to have those conversations about, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm going to be okay if something comes along?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I even think of my own life. You know, I haven't been through, thankfully, the death of a spouse or a divorce, but when I was laid off several years ago, the first person I called was my financial professional, because I wanted that help to know what to do next. It was completely unexpected, out of the blue, and I wanted to know that financially we were going to be okay.
Yeah, that's devastating. I appreciate you sharing that. And that's one thing during COVID, when we saw a lot of people that lost their jobs, and they're technically, they say that age discrimination doesn't exist. Yes, it does. It is so hard for people that are older to find a job.
Absolutely.
Not only did the jobs take effect on the people that didn't have it, the people that still had a job where others didn't want to work, they were getting so bombarded with tasks each day.
Yes.
We actually had somebody that he just couldn't go on mentally anymore. He just could not stay with that company because he was getting treated so poorly, because they didn't have enough people to work.
Wow, yeah. And then I hear, the news wants us to believe that unemployment is down, but you open LinkedIn and now I see so many people in higher level positions who are currently being laid off and dealing with that same unexpected loss.
I think the same person that's counting unemployment was probably counting Social Security. That's why it's going down the toilet too. So,
yeah.
hashtag government.
Yes, for sure. We could do all that. Which brings me to the point. One of the things I know that sets you all apart is you're not afraid to go there with people and talk about money and God and politics and all the things, because that's what makes up our lives.
Of course it is. And that's one of my favorite things about our clients is we're all very like-minded. Just like you're choosing us, we're choosing you as well. Being of high morale, ethical value, making sure that we're doing what's best for other people, just loving your neighbor, being a good human being. I think that a handshake still means something. I think that that's a little bit more rare than what people want to admit.
Absolutely. Well, if you're watching today or you're new to your Powerful Legacy TV and you're going, well, this is different. I thought I was watching a financial show, and as we talked about, it encompasses so much more. We want to encourage you and give you an opportunity to connect with the Powerful Legacy team. So before we go to commercial, would you love to share a little bit more about what you're offering today?
Yes, folks. We do know that a lot of you out there are concerned. What if the worst does happen? Do you know exactly what's going to take place inside of your financial future if you were to become derailed in your retirement track? Now, our phone number is at the bottom of the screen. There is a QR code. Just like when you go to those restaurants and you have the menu with the QR code, same thing, just run it up to that QR code. You're going to set up a complimentary review. You're coming in to just answer the question, are you on track, yes or no? What's the worst case scenario? And then let's make sure you're still good for the best.
Wonderful. Kristina, Rob, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, we are going to take a quick commercial break, but as Kristina mentioned, we encourage you, pick up the phone, call the number on the bottom of your screen, 877-893-5099. For no cost, no charge, no obligation, this is simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how Kristina and Rob and the team at Powerful Legacy can help and serve you. We have more on today's episode. Stay with us. We'll be back right after this.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to your Powerful Legacy TV. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Kristina 𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 and Rob 𝗃𝗃𝗃 of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. Man, we are having a great show today. It always goes by so quickly. And you mentioned something, Kristina, I wanted to re-presence earlier in the show. You talked about how time is money and money is time, and how much you value the viewer's time, the time that they're investing in watching the show, the time that they invest in coming to meet with you. So can you expand on that a little bit?
I mean, first off, I do appreciate when people do come and spend time with us. We know that you appreciate us, and it's our pleasure. It's a blessing for us to be able to serve you and give you this time, but we value your time as well. We know it's very important. I will tell you something that's really interesting about time. I see people that spend more time planning for a Caribbean vacation than they do the longest vacation of their life, which is retirement. Folks, this could be 15, 20, 30 years of your life. That's important to take that time and get that done.
It's a huge chunk of time, and we've talked about this on previous shows. It's not our grandparents' or parents' retirement. It used to be people maybe, retired at 62, but they were passing away as early as 65, and now we could easily live another 30 years, right?
Not only are we living longer, we have hobbies that take us more around the world, different travel plans for different people, and that does cost quite a bit. That takes a lot of time as you get older as well. So it's very important that we look at everything and have a strategy in place that will get us where we need to be.
Absolutely. Well, I know you mentioned that people can come in and get the on-track retirement system and have that complimentary meeting with you. What should that first meeting look like? What can folks expect when they pick up the phone and call?
Well, I think the first thing is that you're going to get a human being. Yes, if you click on the QR code, you are going to get a computer that's going to set the appointment, but you're going to have a human being call you the next business day, confirm your appointment, drop you an email with a list of all the documents we recommend to make the most of our time together. That's all we're really looking for. And then that time together, you should expect that it's going to be fun, it's going to be enjoyable. I want to hear about your life, about your journey, where you're going, how you want to enjoy the rest of your life. That's what I want to hear.
And if someone's watching and they're nervous about gathering that financial information, because the reality is a lot of folks don't even know where their financial information is, or they might be hesitant to share it with you, what would you say to that individual?
Well, we just tell them that it's all completely confidential. And if we need to delay it because they're still taking time to gather some of this information, we can move the appointment just a little bit because we want them to make sure that they're prepared, and then we could provide a full evaluation for them and let them know exactly if they are or are not on track.
No, we've seriously had people come in with a pillowcase full of unopened statements and dump it on the conference room table.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll go through
That's
that.
okay. We've seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, everyone's case is completely different. And at that, if someone's missing something the first time that we meet, we can have a conversation about the rest of the information later. It's
Right.
okay.
Right.
Sometimes you can't get everything, or you don't know everything to get beyond that. Maybe we uncover something that's necessary that you didn't really know about.
Absolutely. Well, and the more information someone provides, I'm sure that gives you the ability to help them even more, right? It's getting all those, dumping all those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, if you will, out on the table to see what you have to work with.
We just don't want somebody come in and say, well, what am I going to do? And they don't have any information for you. And that's happened. And we kind of have to go back to the drawing board. It goes back to time, the time value
Right.
and their time value.
Absolutely. Well, and I know we've mentioned before that some people might feel some shame around money or these kinds of things, but what I love is that you all create such a safe space for people just to be able to meet them where they're at and be able to walk them through. And I know you have a great analogy about why someone shouldn't try to do this on their own, so I'd love for you to share that.
Have you ever tried to YouTube your own brain surgery? I mean, is that a good idea? Maybe you're going to go over to a podiatrist for open heart surgery. That's probably not going to work either. Just like these very silly medical references, a lot of people need to understand that that happens in the financial world as well, especially in retirement. It is not every professional that specializes in retirement. That's not what they do. For some of them, it's simply just accumulating the funds, putting it in the market, and doing their best to grow it. It's not an income strategy. It's not a Social Security, Medicare, tax strategy, none of those things that you're concerned about. So if you have any of those things that you're concerned about, that's probably what we should be talking about. But our visit together will be very productive. One of my favorite things to see is when folks come in and they're, they're very interested and they're very concerned and they want to make sure, yes, I'm on track, or no, I'm not, and what do I need to do? When they leave, the stress just leaves their shoulders. That's my favorite thing, giving people information, just letting them know the answer. It's like a diagnosis. Would you rather know, hey, I have cancer and this is my treatment, or the unknown? The unknown is so much worse. So why in the world are you waiting for just more unknown? Let's find out today, are you on track? And that's what this is for. I know there are a lot of offers out there. There are a lot of dinner seminars, there are a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of people on the radio and on the TV. How you doing? We're amongst that group, but we're completely different. We'd love to spend that time with you. That phone number on the screen is going to get a live person, or if you click the QR code, jump right into my calendar. You pick your time within mine. I can't wait to see you, so please don't hesitate. I know you're thinking about things. Don't wait to call.
Kristina, Rob, thank you so much. You know, the number one cause of financial failure is procrastination. Don't let that be you, and don't be overwhelmed. We know that a lot of this might be new to you. It's not new to Kristina and Rob and the team at Powerful Legacy. They would love to help and serve you. So again, that number to call is on the bottom of your screen, 877-893-5099, or you're welcome to scan that QR code in the bottom right-hand corner. As Kristina mentioned, that will take you to a landing page, ask you a few simple questions, and you'll get connected to come in for your complimentary meeting that way as well. When we come back, as always, we're going to dive into some viewer questions, and who knows, we might even answer yours. Stay with us.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you. Daryl's birthday, be there every square. Happy birthday to you. You can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to your Powerful Legacy TV. I'm Kristen Oakley here with Kristina Ping-Kepperling and Rob Kepperling of Powerful Legacy Insurance and Financial Services. And Kristina, I know we were just laughing. We all love that commercial. What did you want to say about it?
Yes, I know that you just watched that commercial. How fun is that? It basically looked like he was just take this job and shove it kind of thing with the box. It just cracks me up. And then the daydreaming. I mean, I know that a lot of you out there are daydreaming about all of your hobbies, maybe time with your grands or wiping down that beautiful midlife crisis car in the garage, you know, whatever that is. It's so wonderful to hear about all of those things, and gosh, what fun it is to talk about retirement.
I know, because you literally help make people's dreams come true, and that is such a beautiful part of what you do day in and day out, for sure. Well, great. I know we promised we were going to get into some viewer questions, and just a heads up, Kristina was telling me that these might be some of the toughest questions that we've ever answered on this show, so shall we dig in?
Absolutely.
All right. So this question, I'm 70 years old and my kids want to take over my finances, but I don't think it is their business. It is a lot to handle it all since my husband passed. Are there any other options? So that was part one. And the second follow-up was also I have some life insurance that I don't know what to do with next.
Yeah, so we help everything. We would be happy to look over those life insurance policies and get them filed for her. And as far as the kids, it's not their money. Never has been. So she needs to follow her gut and do what's best for her. We would be happy to talk to that person and even we're even happy to facilitate that with the children and let them know, hey, it's none of your business yet, in a nice way, right?
Of course, yeah. And you do that multi-generational sometimes if people want you to facilitate that conversation, right?
We do. I mean, there are two sides of that coin. Sometimes I get people that will bring, my clients that will bring their parents in and just say, hey, I don't want them to lose their dignity, and we love you and I want them to spend time with you too. So we end up with the parents as clients, and that's okay. I actually think I know who that person is that asked that question. I don't know what the lag time is or how this exactly works, Kristen, but I'm telling you, that one really hit me hard because it's the loss of dignity. The loss of dignity is not something that I ever want you to feel. Making sure you have someone there to listen to you and understand you and help you keep your dignity. That's very important. I think about my own dignity. The day that I dread the most is when my kids take away my keys and I can't drive wherever I want to go. I'm going to be like a toddler. I'm going to kick and scream. That's not going to be a good day for them.
I'm going to be long gone by that point, so I don't have to witness any of it.
Oh, gosh. Oh, we don't want to think about that, right? But you're right. I think there's so much that goes into this that's not just about the money. And I love that you brought up that subject of dignity. It's important.
So very important. Yes, ma'am.
For sure. Well, this other question is, how long should I make sure to have if the market loses in order to gain it back and stay on track? And I know that this is something that a lot of folks are concerned about because, as we've shared before, there's different phases of retirement, and the closer you get to that retirement age, you don't have the time necessarily to make it up. So, gosh, this is a loaded question, but take it away.
Well, it's a couple of things. I did a little bit of math here. So let's say that you have $100,000 parked inside of your retirement account and you lose 40%. So you're down to $60,000, right? You just need to gain back 40%. No, you've got to gain back 66.7% because you're only gaining on that $60,000. Just to get back to that 100%, just back to even $100,000, that's a really big deal. Well, let's break that down by the number of years. Let's just say that you lose 40%. And then let's say that you're getting a 6% return on your funds. It's going to take you 8.8 years just to get back to even as far as the time. So 66.7%, 8.8 years. Having those conversations about the number of years, if you're not a numbers person on the percentage, either way, I want to find out what I can do to make sure that your risk tolerance is in check.
That percentage math, it gets all of us every time, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, and what are some things, Rob, that you're able to do for folks to help prepare so that if there is a loss in the market, then they don't have to panic if time is not on their side?
And there's different products. So it all matters on your risk tolerance, but there's different products that we can have that won't go below zero. So they'll be in the market, but not directly in the market as far as indexing. And it's a very, very safe way to control your income until the day you die. And then there's possibility that you still have money to pass to your children or whoever you want to.
Absolutely. As you said, it's your money. You should be able to tell it where you want it to go.
Yeah, I was
right?
probably a little too aggressive at that, but it's for a lot of scenarios where the kids want to take away the money, but there could be a reason to. But you got to look at it. It's their money. They've been saving it their entire life. If they feel they can still take care of it, it's their money.
Absolutely. Well, and again, that's why there's no cookie cutter approach to any of these questions. And that's why it really involves someone coming in, being able to sit down, look at their individual personalized situation so you can give the best advice that's going to serve them the most.
That's absolutely right. And then again, you should be asking those questions. How is this what's best for me? Show me why this is what's best for me. And no professional should ever have a problem having that conversation with you. And then let's jump into fees for just a minute.
Yes,
let's imagine that you've got a big bucket full of all your retirement savings, and you want a spigot of interest going in the top, you want a distribution of income coming down. That's pretty much what retirement distribution of income looks like. You have other holes in that bucket. For some of you, it's going to be taxes, inflation, volatility of the market, fees, healthcare. These can be really big holes. So have that conversation about fees. If you get a professional that's squirming in their chair and they kind of dance around the question, you're not with the right professional. That's not how that is. They should be able to tell you, this is why it's worth it, this is exactly what's going to take place, and at least give you a best case scenario and worst case scenario.
Well, I'm sure a lot of folks come and they don't even realize how much they're actually currently paying in fees. Is that right?
Yep.
No clue.
But you can help them uncover that and figure out if what they're currently in is in fact in their best interest.
They can take any point in time and they can call their person and they can just ask the question. They've got to tell them.
Yep, absolutely. Well, gosh, I always love this time with you. And I know not only from the TV show you have such valuable information, but also your book, The Retirement Train. And I know you're also offering a complimentary copy for anyone who calls into the show today. So, Kristina, do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yes, it's so great. We actually had a TV caller that is now a client, and he asked the question after we had consultation, went through several things, had a second appointment. He said, "Can I please have a ticket to the retirement train?"
Oh, I love that.
So precious. I absolutely love it. Folks, we do look forward to seeing you. Again, that number at the bottom of the screen or QR code, give us a call, drop on the QR, and set an appointment with us. We're here for you. We can't wait to see you.
Wonderful. Kristina, Rob, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, thank you so much for watching. We love being with you. Be safe, be happy, be blessed. We will see you next week.